The second Leela asked Saraswati, "O goddess, please tell me, why is it that though we are blessed by you, my husband cannot win the battle?" Saraswati replied, "No doubt I was adored by King Viduratha for a considerable time, but he did not pray for victory in battle. Being the consciousness that dwells in the understanding of every person, I bestow upon that person that which he seeks. Whatever it be that a person asks of me, I bestow upon him that fruit. It is but natural that fire gives you heat. He had asked for liberation, and he shall attain liberation. On the other hand, the king of Sindhu worshipped me and prayed for victory in battle. Hence the king Viduratha will be slain in battle, and he will rejoin you both, and in course of time will attain liberation. This king of Sindhu will win the war and will rule the country as the victorious monarch." So we're trying to come to terms here with the underlying teaching of the Yoga Vasistha and the practices of Hindu worship. And I wonder what would have happened if both kings had worshipped Saraswati. I suppose it would be whoever worshipped her stronger. But she is the consciousness that dwells in the understanding of every person. And so every person gets that which he seeks. Previously I mentioned this thing about dreams and how in a dream we've got infinite potential to create any scenario we want, and yet we end up in some pretty dreary scenarios sometimes. And we could say, are we responsible for that? Do we have a responsibility for our own dreams? Because it is simply between us and our dreams. Nobody else is making us dream these things. So I think when we're asked to take responsibility for our situation, it's a bit like that. There is a bit of a problem with this notion of karma. There's a bit of a problem saying that we are totally responsible for our situation. Because it seems a bit unfair, because some people don't really seem to have had much choice in their situation. They might be living in a politically repressive or oppressive regime. They might be born handicapped. They might have ghastly parents, and to say that that person is responsible for that situation, it's not really on, is it? But perhaps at some level, at some deep level, there is. But the only message we can take from that is it's up to that person to make the most of it. We should not take the message that you're responsible for your situation, so good luck to it. That's not very good from your point of view either, is it? Anybody that takes that kind of attitude is inviting trouble. So it's a question of language here. If we are responsible for our dreams, then it really is incumbent on us to develop self-knowledge. It's incumbent on us to have some understanding of what's going on. It's incumbent on us to explore our relationship to what we call reality. Vasistha continued. As the ladies were witnessing the battle, the sun rose in the eastern horizon, as if eager to witness the concluding phase of this terrible battle. Surrounded by 1,000 soldiers each, the two kings fought each other. Their missiles had several different shapes and sizes. Some of them, though they were single-headed, when they left the ground, multiplied into 1,000 in the air, and rained literally in tens of thousands when they hit their target. I suppose that would be a cluster bomb of sorts. Both the kings were well matched in strength and valour. Viduratha's was inborn, while the strength of the enemy was derived from a boon he had obtained from Lord Narayana. While they fought, their armies watched dumbfounded. At one stage, when it looked as though Viduratha was winning, the second Leela was highly elated and pointed him out to Saraswati. But the very next moment the enemy emerged unscathed. For every deadly missile of one, the other used a counter-missile. The missile that created depression was countered by one that inspired the warriors. The serpent missile had its antidote. The water missile was met with the fire missile, and the Vishnu missile was used by both the kings. Both the kings lost their vehicles, and they continued to fight standing on the ground. As Viduratha was about to ascend a new one, he was cut down by the king of Sindhu. Viduratha's body was soon brought to the palace, which the pursuing enemy could not enter on account of Saraswati's presence. So the end of King Viduratha.